Hey everyone, Corrie here, coming in to do the energy update for this coming week, weekend, all the above. I think this is about the time last week that I recorded. You'll have to excuse the hot mess. I'm getting ready to go staining the side of my house. So today is actually supposed to be a day off for me, but the video started to come through. So I started to get the energy update. And so I did a written energy update, which is on Facebook. Not sure if it's on Instagram. It would depend. And I just stuck a random sunrise picture with it. Yeah, that's where I am right now. That's where I am. And I'm not half-assing it. I'm just, it's just been crazy busy and I just need to kind of coast down a little bit for a few days. I'm just can feel it. I'm like, I just need to kind of come down. And first and foremost, I also want to mention that I am so forever grateful for all of the people who came to see me in person and all the people that are on a wait list to see me in Slave Lake, Alberta. I will get, I spoke to the people at Soulshine, and Lisa wasn't in. I spoke to the people at Soulshine, and I can go back again. And so I'm going to book a couple days, figure out when my husband's home, and then I'm going to go back and do a few more days so I get everyone in that's on my wait list and everyone else that would like to get in. I can try to fit as many as I can. On a normal basis in my life right now, I only do maximum 8 clients. I work with 8 clients a week. That's kind of my maximum that I do in a week. And when I go in working in person, I'm doing anywhere from 8, 9 a day or more. In those are 1-hour sessions. Those are not 15, 20-minute sessions. I'm talking 1-hour sessions. And so I'm doing 8, 9 1-hour sessions in one day. And then during the week, I normally take about 8. Yeah, about 8 sessions in a run of a week, unless it's, an emergency. Sometimes I have to make exceptions, but that's my go-to. So to all of those who came to see me in Slave Lake, I am so thankful and grateful for your love, for your support, for the hugs, for the connections. And of course, I'm always known for making people cry. So those are tears of love and joy that we bring forth. So I'm not sorry for the tears that you got that help you in your healing, or for you to have that sense of joy of just knowing that you're making that connection to your loved ones. All right, so today's energy, where are we? Well, right now today, which is going to shift again because we are right on the cusp of shifting seasons here. And so we're preparing to shift seasons. We're preparing to go to the fall equinox. And so this weekend's energy brings up the fall equinox. And I'm contemplating celebrating the fall equinox with an online event, but it will be a very last minute thing if I do it. And so, but we are moving into the fall equinox. We're at the very end of the wind down to the summer season. And now we're moving into fall, and you can really feel it. You can feel the crispness in the air, and the watching of the birds preparing to leave and go. And times are shifting and changing. Now we do have the sun is still in the Virgo energy, but the moon is in Leo, and that moon in Leo is kind of our bit of an inspiration. It makes us want to kind of show up and shine. And so it has some fire energy. It brings in the passion in our emotion. What it is bringing up, and what's been coming up for me, is the instigator. And it's bringing in the archetypal energy of the instigator. And I'm really feeling the instigator energy. So in the light, the instigator is about giving a nudge, a push, a shove in the right direction. Let's get things started. Can be very motivational, can really be that one who just inspires change and inspires us to kind of get going and get moving. We feel that anxious inside, like, oh, I'm so excited. I just want to get started. And then on the dark side, on the shadow side of the instigator, that brings in such things as gaslighting, nitpicking, kind of being a bit of a challenging energy. And so really pay attention to which one is really challenging, which one is really pushing you, inspiring you today, or challenging you. Is there a little gaslighter inside? Is there a little entity inside of you that's acting like the little gaslighter and just like triggering you in some ways, or planting those little seeds that grows weeds? Remember that. It's so easy to plant the seeds that grows weeds and not grows something healthy. And so if we keep planting the seeds that grows weeds, before we know it, everything gets taken over by the weeds and it chokes out the good things in our lives. And so really paying attention to that within life and where we are in life with that as well. Now, also coming up in this energy is a sense of kind of nostalgic kind of energy. And I just keep hearing, remember when, remember when, remember when, remember when. And it's just like, and it's bringing forth the sense of, remember when things were simpler, remember when life was easier, remember when. And so in one side of that coin, in one reflection of that, that's a truth. On the other side of that is that everything that's happening now in energy wise, it was happening back then. It doesn't mean things weren't happening. It just means that we weren't, you probably weren't experiencing it, or you weren't in the experience, or you didn't notice it, you didn't pay attention. You may have been in a different experience. So it's like, okay, so we can extract the really good from the remember when and just say, this is what I want to grow in my life. I want to grow more of this peacefulness. I want to grow more of this sense of satisfaction. I want to be more in the energy of feeling satisfied and not feeling as if I'm always starving and hungry for something, and feeling the sense of desperation, anger, resentment, all of that that's coming up. Now, one of the things that's really taken me kind of on a big journey myself through all of this was my prediction of what happened a few weeks ago with Charlie Kirk, and how I had seen this coming in. And it wasn't coming in from the collective, it was coming in from the external. And so we're always being watched. Everything is being seen, that is transpiring, that is happening. And it's just like, the Santa Claus song, better be good, right? That Santa Claus is watching. Well, there's always something that is watching us. There is always something out there in spirit world, in the ether, somewhere out there that is revealing the truths that can transpire on earth. We always hope for things to turn around. And that experience and I mean, I am no stranger to predictions that we have seen unfold, but that prediction kind of really hit a spot within, and the unfolding. But what they did say when I predicted that, what the guides did tell me, was the guides spoke of change and how this was going to bring about a change, and that we would see some big changes unfolding that kind of turns us in a new direction in some way. And we are witnessing it in so many areas. And whether it is, and like I said, this is not about a for against, and it's not about, the celebrity status of all of that. It's about knowing that that anything is possible at any given moment. And so what we do with our lives, who we are, how we show up, how we treat each other matters. And it matters in such a big way. It matters because it is a ripple effect that influences others, that has an impact upon others. And when we become more awake and more aware, we're willing to explore many truths. And sometimes it's so hard to see many truths when we're caught in our convictions of, I'm right, you're wrong. But sometimes we have to look at the many truths and ask ourselves why we believe that, why we're so obsessed about that, why we're hooked on that, why is it that I feel like I have to do this? Why? And so there's many, it's what it is. It gives us many opportunities to pivot and turn those choices and make changes in the choice, to kind of readjust, to kind of make, kind of tweak our thought process and how we move about. Now, what I'm receiving and what I've been giving today about this is that this unfolding that we have watched kind of unravel in our lives kind of began back, I want to say, the days of my parents becoming parents. So the 60s, the 70s, like around that period of time, whatever energy was happening then, whatever movements were happening then, that this has become the whole continuation. And now we've really hit the end. And that this has been all has been rolled out. And now that period, that era has now ended. And that we will not see that era kind of come back once it fully ends, that we're going to move into a whole new era, a new way. And so bringing that into us and bringing that down into the micro, bringing that within ourselves, is that where in our lives are we finally seeing an era end in our own lives? What story has been, it could be our whole lifetime, right? I'm thinking back to kindergarten for myself, that beginning of school, starting school. And that's the thought that's coming in now. You have to remember, if you've ever listened to my videos before, is that, I don't have any of this information before I sit down here. This is all coming in this moment. It is unedited. It's exactly what's coming. So I'm getting those same little thoughts going on in my mind while I'm flipping back and forth between myself and the guides. And so I'm like, oh, kindergarten. I'm thinking about kindergarten graduation, and just that sense of pride. And, that whole era since kindergarten graduation. So I'm like 50, I'll be 55 years old. But I guess that might make sense, because how old are you when you start kindergarten? 5. And I'm going to be 55 in 2026. That would make sense. So what I'm getting is, what era has ended and what era is beginning? Is it this year? And look at it in an archetype of way. Is this the era of your set your wings out and fly? Is this the era of taking yourself serious? Is this the era of letting go and just letting yourself have fun in life? What era are you done kind of having to exist in, even though you've been wanting it to end for a while, but you keep dragging it on, and it keeps dragging on, and it keeps staying with you? What era are you ready to end? What is those things that are just not worth the fight? And what is the things that you value the most? What do you value the most? And it's really bringing us back to, what do you value the most? And as we're moving through this energy, and as we move through this fall equinox, it's also bringing up the revealing of like secrets. And so with these ending and new beginning energy that's coming in, it's where we can reap the rewards of our harvest. But it also means sometimes that, situations are going to kind of come to a full closure. We're going to start packing things away and putting things away. And so that means dejunking, clearing out, which is telling me that for some out there, is what I'm getting is that era that you've had in, say, a relationship or in a stage of your life. You may have been like a very long-term relationship with something. And it could be an addiction, it could be a person, it could be a business, it could be personal. Whatever that is that it's coming to the end of its stage, like it's ended. It could be with your own shadow, right? And you're finally ready to stop doing the shit that you did before. You're finally ready to stop you're finally ready to start breaking those bad habits, they call it, right? Those unhealthy habits that keep you from living in your joy, your excitement, and having fun in life, and having and seeing the goodness that you have around your world. And so it is kind of saying, it's happening, it's coming, and it's coming so that you could begin to really reap the rewards of all you have learned and all that you are now gaining. So it's bringing in a plus, it's bringing in a positive that is coming with this. Now, on the same kind of end of the breath, is that it is speaking about big financial collapses, explosions of could be a takeoff of something just taking off, but it's also bringing in a collapse. So I am seeing some industry or some industrial collapses. Things are kind of going down, but we're also seeing some of the rises. And so where we would have had a kind of a collapse in, say, I don't know, let's just say, for example, like automobile, is we'll see that rise again. Or where we have seen like prior a takeoff, say in fast food, we're going to see that kind of go down, and we'll see the rise in healthy food, right? Like just using these as examples, I don't really know exact. I'm just seeing comparison from one to the other, and that's what I'm seeing. It's like that's what it's showing me, is that there will be some of this that's revealing itself over this next, I want to say, next few weeks. We're coming on to September. Feels like it has just flown by, but the beginning of September, the second week of September, the first week of September, all felt like it was actually the end of September. So it feels like September was flipped upside down, and what should have happened in the beginning of September, it was like we were already in the end of September, and people were already living in the end, and living in the end of September, already living in the fall, that wasn't here, already living in a time that really wasn't here. So it was like this rush to get somewhere. And so this is where some people are going to start running out of gas and energy earlier than they should have. It's like you're going to start to see the running out of energy. All that enthusiastic energy people had at the beginning of the month. Oh, I'm going to do this. And you start preparing, start doing. You're going to start to notice possibly a fizzling of your energy if you have been in overdrive, overdoing, overgiving, over happy, like just jumping in. And now it's like, oh, I don't know if I have the gas in my tank to go the distance. And it's saying, you know, well, maybe you have to give yourself permission to take that break, to slow it down, because we're going through some real dense kind of energy. We're still in the eclipse season. We're still going through that space between one door opening and closing and the other door opening again. And so we're in this real kind of density in the energy, but yet we kind of get enthusiastic because we get excited about something new, or about change, or about a new season coming, or something happening. So we get ahead of ourselves. And so for a good portion of the collective energy, it has been ahead of itself. And because it's gotten ahead of itself, you're arriving at a point of where, well, the door is not ready to open. Nothing's ready to open. So you can slow it back down, and give it a pause, give it a break. October is going to really start to catapult things forward. And we're going to see a real level of kind of charging energy coming in, and kind of things are picking up, or we're going to have a pickup in energy. But in the meantime, it feels like the rest of this month is kind of flipping us and just showing us a reality of where we really are, and that we're only just beginning. We're only just beginning this season. We're only just beginning this stage. Give it a rest, give it a break. We're only just in the school season. So we're already like, oh, I can't wait for this Christmas break. Can't wait for this break. I can't wait for that break. And it's like, yeah, because you got ahead of yourself. Slow down, right? And so that sense of rushing through, sometimes we don't realize it's actually still existing in survival mode, and being stuck in the cycles, being stuck in the loops. And when we stop chasing around the circle and chasing our tail, is we realize that life is more of the spiral, right? We're here to go up, and that we can come back down but we have to go up, right? We're here to go up this way. And the more that we start getting to that right space, that right place, it is more like we're squeezing through a smaller space. Our world gets smaller. Our circle gets smaller. We don't have such a vast, big world, because we are more, we get more contained within ourselves, when we stop looking for the outer validations in the world. And so this is the beginning of something that can give us the opportunity to really rise and really do something really good. don't know what this is. And what I keep seeing is they keep showing me like, I'm like, is this pop cans? You know, like the pop can and the tab on the pop can. I'm like, are we, and this is the weirdest thing, because why would this even matter? Are we changing the tabs on the pop cans? Are our pop cans getting a new look? So, do anyone remember when pop cans had two circles, a small one and a big one? Right? It's like when we got cans and we had the peel back tab and it would peel back. Then we got the two little push tabs and we were so excited we couldn't, like, two little tabs and you push, push. And then we got the whole little tab and then pull that tab and it pops the piece down and opens up the pop or opens up the can. I don't know why, but I'm seeing us get a new design on pop cans. And I don't know when we're getting this or what this is about, or you know, but it is about innovation. It is about change. And so everything that has been the same for a long period of time is about to get a facelift or a change. There is about to be some sort of changes that we don't kind of take as, you know, as oh, it just is. Well, when that happens, it also brings in changes of eras. When we see those kind of changes, it means times are changing. It is no difference of when we went from having records, 8 tracks, to records, to cassettes. It's all in this nostalgia. 8 tracks, records, cassettes, and then CDs, and then of course iPhones or just Android phones. Music became streaming online. And of course, we still have records around, but it became a different way, right? It's something new came in. And so we're moving into an era of great innovation and change once more. And when we do that, everything changes, the era changes. And I do feel like clothes, styles, everything. And as much as there might be some resistance to this, that as we move into the fall and the winter, you're going to probably start to see the 80s return. And I've been saying this, I said this in, I think, my yearly, I've been speaking about this for a while, is that you're going to see the return of some of the energy and some of the ways of the 80s, which brings in some carefreeness. It brings in some unity. It brings kind of people back. It kind of takes the focus away from being so serious and so laser focused on the political world, the political scale, and starting to be very community based. It's when, you know, it's when we were all about pool halls and hanging out and having fun and community based, the clothing, the everything. So there is something that is taking us back but forward all at the same time. And we're right there. And it's just like it's like this explosion of it that's all kind of happening right now. I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, the pop cans are about to change again. Everything kind of, I'm like, there's innovation. We're changing direction again, which means whenever these things are happening in areas that influence kind of that part of ourself that is nostalgic, then we see something new come in. It's like the release of something new. And I don't know why I also see like the hanging of pictures, like the hanging of pictures, something to do with how you hang pictures. So I don't know what that's about, but I see things being hung up, hung up, hung up. So it could be that the style is changing and we're coming back into hanging up your family pictures, or hanging something on the wall. Hey, so for some of you, it might be where you finally get that maybe that certificate you've been waiting for. You finally finish up that college degree you've been working on, or you finally had one last course or 2 last courses to do, and you're like, F it, let's just get this done. It may be where some of you may return to school and go back into school and really bringing back in, I feel like we're really bringing back in the trades in a big way. Now, so we do have a lot that's on the move. And I know that's a lot for like a weekend energy. So I feel like we're kind of ending out September and we're moving in, but we are, this is going to come about fast. Like we're going to see some really fast moving energy. Now, I'm also being given, um, hmm, I got people on the move. So it feels like another threat, like some sort of threat to society, to a group. So now that I just had this flash, I seen this happening with what happened with Charlie Kirk. I seen this happening the month before, I believe, when I started to see all these people in a like, and I was telling people, be careful about going to a big event. Be careful about going to a big event. They just give it to me again. I seen it prior to Charlie Kirk's, and it wasn't Charlie itself I was seeing. I seen a prominent figure that was going to die, and I knew it was going to be in a crowd. It was going to be something that was going to send shockwaves. Um, but the same crowd environment I seen prior, I seen in my video from the 2 videos ago, I'm seeing it again. And I'm just the the big the big rallies, the big events, the big groups. It's like it just feels as if it is a cesspool for the moment when something happens that we cannot reverse, that we cannot go back on. It's like, and it just feels like it's like something that kind of is that final nail that just says enough is enough. Enough is enough. We have to stop this mentality, this behavior. This cannot be okay. And in my yearly, I spoke about people really resolving and healing, starting to want to really put focus into healing the addictive patterns and isms of their lives and making some changes that way. I feel like this is going to be a catapult towards reversing some of the programming that has been kind of integrated in that was never healthy, never intended to be healthy, and was never serving us. And so there's something of that that's also bringing about change as well in the coming weeks. And I'm like, oh, we have a big end of the month, and it's teetering this way. It's moving us back in. And so there is some big moments that are bringing us full circle. It's bringing the end of eras, and it's bringing about a new era, a new change, innovation. It's going to be a time of where you may be feeling inspired. You may be ready for that relationship that you've been afraid to go into. You may have been on surgery list and waiting for surgeries and needing to get health treatments for a long period of time. And all of a sudden, it is now finally coming up on you, and you're getting those needs taken care of. It's like, I don't know, it just feels like we're moving through list, or we're getting up. And I'm also seeing some big volcano or something. I'm like, wow, I got too much happening all at once here. I'm seeing everything happening all at once. And it's just like it's like the whole world is opening up and all the band-aids are falling off, and we're seeing all the wounds, we're seeing all the joy, we're seeing all of it all at once. And it's like a volcanic kind of lava overflow type of thing that I'm seeing. And I'm just like, oh, it's falling over beautiful places and beautiful things. And I'm like, wow. And that's nature. We can't stop nature from happening unless we're messing with nature. And so we are messing with nature, and they are messing with nature in a big way, which is, I feel like we're going to start to see some new truths about that, and having to kind of peel it back and really expose it. Um, what is natural, what grows from the earth, is what we should be putting into our bodies. That I just got. And we are here to be putting in what really truly comes from the earth, that is a part of the earth, and to not to be sold imitation. We're going all the way back to conversations we were having several years ago about imitation light versus real light, and really paying attention to imitation versus real light. And that imitation will always be trying to sell you something, trying to convince you of something, convince you something is good for you. A real light doesn't try to convince you at all. Real light just does what it does, and just places itself out there and just says, it's up to you, right? And so don't be so easily led by the infomercial of life and by the propagandas. Really beginning the journey of discernment and self-discovery are key as we move forward. Use discernment in your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own everything. And so, you know, does this version of me really believe this? Do I believe that to be true? Is that what I'm really believing in? And yeah, we are really going to start to see things take some big turns and big changes as we move forward. I send you so much love. Have a beautiful weekend, beautiful day. And if you're in the Camrose area, or if you're in Alberta at all, or anywhere, and you want to come join us in Camrose, Alberta, you could be anywhere in the world. You can get on a plane. You can come visit us in Camrose, Alberta. We will be having the wellness, women, was it wine? No, wine, wellness, and woo woo. The wine, wellness, and woo woo event that is, and I even come up with that name and I still can't get it. Wine, wellness, and woo woo event for women that is happening is women empowerment, transformation, spiritual work. It is sharing the stories and experiences, and also answering some questions and some interactive conversations by pulling questions from the box and answering questions from the audience. And of course, there's always going to be a couple of readings that will be in there, because in the little question box, if someone puts a question that is, you know, something about mediumship, we're going to be there. So we have some beautiful vendors who will be joining us, and it is at the Camrose Casino Resort Hotel. And it is on October the 25th. So join us there. And I have some good news, some exciting news for me that I think is exciting. Some more exciting news that's also coming up in the next few weeks as well. I started my new, also started the Mystic Realm mediumship course, and that is now just began, and you can still enroll. That started last night. And so if you want to become a mystical realm reader and learn more about the archetypes and the archetypes of the soul and the connection to our own soul's energy and our spirit, then come join me in that class. It is available on mteacademy.ca, all in the description below here on YouTube. And you can get in on the Academy with a whole bunch of courses that are discounted. Some are free, but we also have all of the astrological signs for each one. We have filled these packages that are filled with astrological information. They're filled with about your house, the angelic connection. They also had and have the 2025 yearly predictions for each and every zodiac sign added in there. Of course, sometimes it's just worth listening for what was already given. And I know we're coming down to the end, but we've still got a few months left. So, and then it's human design, and there's some human design in there, and the gates and things for each of your zodiac signs around the wheel. So go check that out as well on MTE Academy. Go to my website, go to my other website, go to CorrieThorne-Cameron.com, and you can see all that is happening and all that's coming up, and you can get your tickets to the Camrose event as well. Send you much love. Thank you. Bye-bye.